You may summon Midgardsormr by selecting the corresponding entry within your minion guide. Wait, so he's a minion now? Get out of here. Oh my god. That's so funny. Father of Dragons, Keeper of the Lake, Bane of the 14th Legion. While it is difficult to believe a Yalm-Long pup could be any of these things, he assures you his current form is only temporary while he awaits the reconstruction of a new corporeal vessel. How do I... That's so silly. That's great. Look at this little guy. This guy's so small. Oops. The ninja. Okay. I was beginning to fear the worst. Were those explosions I saw? But you shouldn't be wasting time talking with me. Alphanod left a message stating that you were to return to the Rising Stones at once. Of course he did. Of course he did, the little bastard. Okay, let's, so nothing I got in the dungeon was useful for me. Okay, so we need to go back to Mordona. Oh, I guess we were right there. I didn't realize that. I forgot. I forgot we're still in the area. So that was an unnecessary teleport. Well, that's cool. See, that mount is cool. It's cooler than driving a fucking car. That's the stuff I hate. Okay. Well, well, well. Look who it is. Praise the 12. I came as soon as Minfilia told me of, or informed me of Sir Amaric's request. You have completed your investigation of the Keeper of the Lake, I take it? Then I would hear your report. So, now we have to say, by the way, he stole Hydalin's blessing, and now I'm fucked. You converse with Midgardsormr. I swear, were anyone else to make such a claim, I would regard it with considerable skepticism. Are we to understand that the Worm Lord did not perish, and has in sooth lain dormant these past 15 years? Less a resurrection and more a rejuvenation, for he who dwelleth in eternity, years passing as moments. Those words were ambiguous at times. One statement left little room for interpretation. My people have heard the song Ishgard Shall Burn. Clearly an attack is imminent. We must share this information with Sir Amaric immediately. However, we dare not divulge your conversation with Midgardsormr in its entirety. To even acknowledge that you heard the voice of a Dravanian... Oh, a Dravanian, I guess that's just dragons. I guess that's what that means. I heard the voice of a Dravanian is grave, but necessary risk, lest we forget men who have been executed as heretics for declaring as much. For your own protection, and for the sake of our tenuous relationships with Ishgard, the truth cannot leave this room. Nod. Yep, nod. Where's my guy? Nod. As for how we shall present our revelation to Sir Amaric's emissary, you may leave that to me. Okay. Do we want to talk about the whole thing about how he broke all the crystals? Is there something you're not telling us? You seem different now. 'Tis almost as if you're missing something important. It's very specific. 12 for Fend. Midgardsormr stripped you of the blessing of light. Are you alright? How do you feel? Pretty good, all things considered. I see. It is a relief to hear that you are otherwise unharmed. It beggars belief that any being could possess the power to deprive you of her blessing. Midgardsormr made mention of a covenant, did he not? Yeah, look at this tiny dragon I have. One of the ancient myths regarding Silver Tear Falls states that when the waters came into existence, so too did the great worm. Althic and Nemea, brother Time and sister Fate, decreed that Midgardsormr ever watch over the source from which all water and magic was said to flow. I wonder, what if this was the covenant with which he spoke, and 'twas not the gods with whom he treated, but Hydaelyn herself? Well, if he is watching over you as he claimed, mayhap he will have an opportunity to ask. Let us keep this matter to ourselves. I do not wish to burden our friends needlessly. The whole, like, the blessing of Hydaelyn thing has kind of been our big thing. It's why we're not able to be it's why we're not able to be controlled by shit. The primals. Art thou a pawn or master of thy fate? What hast thou wrought by thine own hands, mortal? Okay. He just came to talk shit. He's like, hey, fuck you, and then left. It's like, you're a bitch. Bye. Just disappeared. Some minion you are.
My friend, I can scarce believe it. You confronted the Wormlord and lived to tell the tale.
That's right. Wormlord was my nickname in college.
I give thanks to Helone for your preservation. It is our sole cause for gladness. Your encounter with the Keeper of the Lake served to confirm our fears. A great worm has roared, and it makes little difference if it was one of the two in Eorzea or any other.
Yeah, I'll show you a great worm. You know what I'm saying? A really, really big dragon.
I am told that Ishgard has magical defenses against Dravanian attack, though I am not privy to their exact nature.
We call them guns.
Will they be enough to repel a massive force?
Yeah, we got big ones.
Ishgard has weathered countless assaults over centuries. This will be no different. And now that you have confirmed the threat, none can ignore the Lord Commander's calls for the wards to be strengthened. I dare not presume to speak for him, but I expect the Lord Commander would sing your praises.
You fucking better.
I must away, but we shall meet again soon.
Okay. Keep nodding.
Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different? Why am I not convinced?
Okay. Alright, we did it. We really did it. We spoke to him. The Ishgardians have warred with the Dravanians for centuries, nay, nearly 1,000 years. Excuse me. In all that time, not once have their enemies breached their defenses and entered the city proper. Yet regardless of how strong these magical wards may be, they nevertheless fear that the Ishgardians are underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Midgardsormr who roared, a call to arms by one of the first brood cannot be ignored. Until such time as they choose to request our aid, however, we can do naught but observe the situation at a distance and pray that our fears are unfounded. How have we not met any of these Dravanians if they're such a big fucking deal? You know, they're a big deal. But, we've never seen them. I'm the fucking warrior of light, dude. I gotta know about this shit. Even though there's no light, the light's gone. Don't tell anybody about that. Light's gone. Wow, okay. Jesus fucking Christ. We still have 20 missions left. Or 20 quests before we get to Heavensward. Yikes. Ere I forget, I believe Moenbryda Has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Ascians. Pray inform her that our business with the Ishgardians is concluded for the moment. I shall be along once I've completed my communications with the Crystal Braves. Okay. Hey, all done with your talk of dragons. Wonderful. Because Ascians are next on the menu. Let's head into the solar, shall we? Okay. Why couldn't we just... Why couldn't you just have told me to meet you there? You know? If Alpha and I would have just said, oh, go there. That's what I mean, is it's like... There's like unnecessary steps everywhere. Like, just shorten it by like 2 steps. We'd be in Heavensward by now. Okay. What do you got? Ugh.
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking, I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated...
I love this
burst
style of
or
exposition,
blade of purest
where everybody enters a big black void.
We wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods? Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian's soul? Or still more?
Okay.
I do not envy the poor sod who has to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve. And I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
Okay.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Have you ever done the Hildebrand optional quests?
Give me a bit
I don't
more
think
thought,
so.
will you?
I don't think I
Why
did.
would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting
I'm trying to
out
remember
all
who
over the
Hildebrand
land?
is, to be honest.
I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
Right.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say?
Okay.
If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea.
Right. So is this is just going to be a big explanation for why we're able to do this?
I've got a good feeling about this.
You're just going to give us like a cell phone that can get Aether?
I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
Okay. It's a really fun comedy-based quest line, and I'd recommend anyone who plays the game
you have my blessing.
to do it.
But tell us, what are your theories?
Hold on.
I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
What is it? Do you know what it's called? Hildebrand quests. Oh, and these are level 50 quests. You may have seen some people showing off the pretty sick Manderville dance emote. This, for the uninitiated, can only be acquired from assisting the dashing Hildebrand and his assistant Nashu on their well-meaning yet clumsy adventures. While that specific emote is acquired after completing the quest, the hammer, there's a ton more scraps that you can get up to while in Hildebrand's company, and we've listed them in order. To kick off Hildebrand's adventures, go pick up The Rise and the Fall of Gentlemen from Winmond in Ul'dah once you hit level 50. You know what? I'll be honest with you. In Ul'dah, the first quest is called something with the gentleman in the name. It's outside the crystal. Oh, it even gives you 3 boss fight trials in it. Oh, okay. You know, honestly, like, this just makes me realize that there's so much shit in this game that I haven't touched at all. That seems dumb and fun, though. I'm looking at a picture of this guy, Hildebrand. That seems all right. I'll definitely do those. I might do those when I don't, since I don't always have the ability to do a trial or a dungeon. So if I have to take a break from the MSQ or something to do something lighter, just like story stuff, then I'll definitely do that. Because I like dumb stuff like that. And by the way, when I say dumb, I mean it in the most positive way possible, because I like dumb shit. I'll have to look at that. I have it open on my browser so I don't forget. Okay.
I thought you might say that.
Some of the most fun stuff,
no
and it's certainly
dumb.
dumb. Good.
All day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an Etheric Siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning
Maybe
to
I'll do
try it
that
out.
before I start Heavensward properly. Because now I'm still in the patches. The fucking never-ending patches.
The profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the Siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
It gets a sequel questline in each expansion, so it's best to do the old one before you start the next expansion. Okay, that's good to know. So it's like level 50 is level. So are the first Hildebrand missions, are they considered to be Heavensward? Or is it ARR? Because I see it's level 50, and I know that's when Heavensward starts. Oops.
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridian. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength.
Level 50 post ARR post MSQ. Okay.
Withdrew, however, Their ranks will
So yeah, I'll do it
replenished by
before I start Heavensward.
reinforcements from Costrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the Ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals.
That's right.
Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Ascians will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a crystal brave, you are yet a Scion elf, you know. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thangred and Papalimo shall accompany you.
Okay. All right.
Ida and Yashtola, in the meantime, I would have you assist Moenbryda. Scout out the
Moenbryda. Okay. That's how you say that.
As soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
I was saying Moenbryda.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white aurosite.
Okay.
Thank you, Ariange. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you're able. Go well, and be safe.
Okay, bye. Okay. So let me see here real quick. So for the MSQ stuff, it looks like the next big thing that I have to do is at the end of this patch. So I'm at 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, actually no, there's one in like 2 missions. So I'm thinking like I'm not going to be able to stream Final Fantasy tomorrow. I know that. I'm going to be busy, but honestly, this looks like this looks to me like I won't even fucking get to Heavensward until the weekend anyway. So I'll definitely have to do the Hildebrand quest before then, I feel like. So maybe like Saturday or later tonight, depending on how far I get, because I have I could probably go another 3 hours. So I might be able to get through most of these patches. Post ARR quests are insanely long. Dude, this is nuts. This is like I mean, this post ARR stuff, it's the reason why I stopped playing the game a while ago. So I have like 222 hours in this game, and I've been back playing this game for maybe like 12 hours, you know? Recently, and because I bought Endwalker and then I didn't play, so the expansions don't have the awful duration, and they also replace every single voice actor. That's what I've heard too, is that at Heavensward, right, they get new voice actors. But so I bought Endwalker because I only owned A Realm Reborn, because I actually bought 1.0, believe it or not. I bought 1.0 and I played like a week of it because I liked Final Fantasy XI, and then I never really got into it. And then, so it was technically like on an account, and then, I think I ended up picking it up again anyway, and I bought ARR when that came out, and, I didn't play it until like last year, and then, so I played through ARR, and I've been doing this, like, okay, so I leveled up all my Disciples of the Hand and Disciples of the Land skills to above 50, and even my Paladin is level 56, and I haven't even gotten to fucking Heavensward yet. So, I didn't level up any of the other stuff, but all the crafting stuff I've leveled up. So that's what I spent the bulk of my time doing. But oh, are you on what is it? Coeurl? Is that how you say it? Yeah, so I spent a lot of my time doing this, and then I, oh, you're a paladin on Coral. And then after A Realm Reborn, I was getting stuck. I was getting stuck because all of my stuff couldn't level up because it was all stuff I didn't have access to. You know, I couldn't go to certain places to get certain resources. So, that was the bulk of my time. And then it had been so long since I'd played any combat stuff that I fucking forgot how to play. So anyway, so just like a few months ago or whatever, whenever Endwalker came out, I picked it up. And it's been sitting in my account. So I figured I was gonna start playing it, but I was like, you know what? I will, yeah, what's a sword? Miso and fish. Yeah, absolutely. I'm bad enough at MMOs. I don't play any MMOs, really. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at the rotation shit, and I get overwhelmed really easily in these fucking games. And I always feel like an asshole because I suck at it, and then I feel like I'm fucking it up for everybody because I'm a tank. So, what I was gonna say is that when I was playing before, I was like looking at my stuff here, and I'm like, okay, I want to level up my other stuff, but I don't have access to those areas, so I'll pick up the expansion. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, well, at the time, it was the previous expansion, and they're like, oh, Endwalker will be out in like a couple months. And I was like, whatever, then I'll just put this off and play it later. So I just canceled my sub, and then figured I would play it later, and then Endwalker got delayed, you know, and then I bought Endwalker, and then I never played the fucking game. And so now I'm finally playing it, and then I'm going through the ARR stuff, and I only played a little of that stuff before, and I feel like, man, man, this sucks. This post-ARR patches are so rough that it's like, I don't know. Everybody says it's like, oh, dude, like, the writing in this game is so good, man. It's so good. You gotta check this game out. Even if you don't like MMOs, it's so good. You like RPGs. You play a lot of JRPGs, you gotta play this. And it's like, Jesus Christ. All this. This is rough, man. Yeah, but I just want to get through this stuff and then be able to play it. But like I said, I've been going for like fucking 10 hours, and I could just like click through all the story stuff, but well, then what's the point? I feel like Heavensward is where the game gets great, and Shadowbringers is perfect. That's what everybody says. You know what I mean? Well, that's the other thing, is that people are like, dude, you gotta play Final Fantasy XIV, even if you're not a big MMO guy, because the stories are so fucking good. And then I played through A Realm Reborn, and I was like, I mean, that's okay. You know, it's not it's nothing earth-shattering. I mean, whatever. A Realm Reborn is kind of whatever. And then everybody's like, no, you don't get it. That sucks. But Heavensward, and post that, everything, and dude, apparently Endwalker's like a perfect game. Yeah, exactly. ARR just sets the basic foundation. It's a lot of world building. I get that, you know, and I'm totally fine with that. I like that kind of stuff in RPGs anyway. I played through every Trails game, like, you know, the Kiseki games, so I understand really, really long exposition and world building, and I think that adds a lot to, especially like RPGs and stuff like that. So it's totally fine, but it's just a bummer that I'm still here, and I still haven't gotten to the fucking good stuff. But it's also, you know, I was also doing my sewing and fishing, like the other guy said, so it's kind of on me. Okay, so 'twould seem the events that, t'would seem that events have once more considered to rob us of rest and recuperation. Though I would wish it otherwise, I must ask that you head straight... Okay. God, some of the ways they talk drives me nuts. Meanwhile, I must rendezvous with Captain Ilberd at our headquarters in Ul'dah. Okay. Alright. Endwalker is probably the best RPG story I've played, and I've been playing RPGs since the NES era. I really, really like the Trails series, man. Those are some of the best. Like, the Trails in the Sky 1, 2, 3. Oh, never mind. I thought that was auto... Oh, wait, no, it is auto-advancing. Trails 1, 2, and 3 are really good. And by, like, Trails of Cold Steel, they get very modern, like, harem anime-y. So, take that what you will. But the world is really great in those games. We too wish to say our farewells to the Rising Stones for the time. That name travels to Ul'dah. At my daughter's behest, I go to contact certain old acquaintances in the Gilded City. We are beset on all sides by civil unrest and imperial machinations, threatened by primals, and troubled by dragons. We need all the allies we can muster. Many of my friends hold positions of power, you see, and it is my hope that they can be convinced. Okay. That's another thing is I've noticed that all this in-between stuff, it's all been like gathering the Avengers kind of thing. How extraordinary that my little Asilia is involved in such far-reaching affairs. I am proud that I might now stand at her side, not only as a mother, but also as a colleague. A colleague with influential connections, but I fear that Ildau has become a place of... Oops, I accidentally muted. A place of danger, even for one so familiar with her streets. Okay. Alright. What is that? You just like pelvic thrusted. Okay. Shall we be on our way then? Alright. The optional raids in every expansion, even ARR, have a good story. And they all become important by Endwalker. I haven't done any raids. That's the thing, like I said, I have no experience in MMOs outside of this game, pretty much. Like I said, I played like Final Fantasy XI, but that was when I was like a kid, and I have fond memories of that, but modern MMOs and stuff like that, it's let's see. It's very intimidating, all this shit. I don't even know, like, where are the raids? How do you even, oh, Raid Finder. So I don't even do I even have access to them? I have no idea. Like I said, I really don't know. So I kind of, I've been sticking strictly to story stuff. So occasionally I have to party up. Not that I'm like intentionally a single player person, but I just don't, I actually liked... One of the reasons why I have such fond memories of Final Fantasy XI is because it was such a forced social experience. It was really, really good at that because you didn't have a fucking choice. You had to play, you know, with other people. Otherwise, you couldn't even level to like level 5. You had to party up to kill goblins or whatever they were called. It was crazy. The most basic shit in that game, you had to sit outside the city gate and wait to party up with people. It was kind of crazy, but so I like that experience. I like the social experience. But the problem is that I just feel like I'm just not. I'm not that competitive. I play mostly single player games, and then on top of that, I don't really. I just never really feel like I fully understand the mechanics of MMOs. Like I said, I have a hard time keeping up with, like, when there's, like, a bunch of enemies. I just did the Midgardsormr fight, and I think for, like, the first, like, 3 minutes of the fight, I did not realize that he was summoning other dragons, so I wasn't aggroing them. So that was I felt like a real asshole for that. Okay, at some point you should find a list of all the raid quest starting locations, though be warned, you won't be able to queue for the Coils of Bahamut ones. The Coils of Bahamut raids, the story is really important, but they were way too difficult, so the only way you're really going to get the story is if you level... Oh, 90 insta-kills the boss for you. If a level 90 insta-kills the boss. Since nobody does them normally. All the raids, besides Coils of Bahamut, are very casual. Okay, that's good to know. And I guess, like, I mean... Right, they have, like, the really difficult raids, right? So, again, I don't really know anything about them, because I don't play MMOs, but, like, people who are, like, super hardcore into MMOs, they play, like, the fucking, like, the extreme versions of the raids, right? So it's, like, probably the normal raids are just left to normies and dweebs that don't get too deep into the game. They have savage versions of normal raids for tryhard players like me, lol. Hey, that's cool, I mean, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever gets you going. Just, I know that ain't me. Maybe someday. I mean, look, here's the thing, is that I don't... One of the things about MMOs is that I don't understand how people get into them. And I think that's been my biggest barrier to really getting into Final Fantasy XIV. Like, right now, I'm basically grinding to get to the story content, but I don't understand how people get really into MMOs. Maybe they have, like, an established friend group that plays. Maybe they're in, like, a really cool, like, FC, you know what I mean, that everybody's always involved. But I've never really had that experience, and I don't have friends who play MMOs. So, I've never really figured that out. And I think that's been my biggest barrier in ever getting into an MMO before, which is why I mostly stick to, like, I like the crafting system in this game and stuff like that. But even then, I feel like it gets trivialized anyway, because it's not like a player-driven economy or anything, like, fully. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, I like the money game and a lot of stuff, and I like single-player games, so... I started the game on my own last July, and don't have anyone I play with, I just play it all the time. Oh, okay. Did you play MMOs beforehand? Like, were you in anything before Final Fantasy? Okay, let's see. Not that I don't think we can handle the situation, mind you, and I've learned a trick or two since the disaster with the Amalja. But returning to the task at hand. Briefly played WoW years ago. Gotcha. So, like, where do you, like, okay, so if you're doing, like, Savage Raids, where did you learn to be good at the game? Assuming you're good, right? How did you learn to be good at the game if you don't, like, socialize with other people who are, like, into Final Fantasy XIV? Because I watch, like, some videos and I'm like, okay, what's a decent rotation for, like, tanks and shit like that? But even that gets outdated really fast, because it's like, if you look up, like for me, if I look up, like, a level 50 guide, because I hadn't played for a while, if I look up, like, a level 50 guide, they're all from, like, 3 years ago, so they're way out of meta anyway. I refuse to watch videos or do voice chats. I just keep running things until I figure it out. Okay, I mean, I guess that works. I guess that works too. Maybe there's just something to it that... there's something about, like, a big list of skills that it's like, okay, this does, like, this very specific thing, and I don't know the best circumstances to use them in, and then I hear other people talk about things if I watch, like a video or something, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. This is, like, going way over my head. But, I mean, I'm having fun with what I do now, but, I feel like maybe I should have been a more support role, because sometimes I feel like I fuck it up if I'm tanking. Even though you know, the game's not that difficult. So I don't really, I think I've died, like, twice. And, one of them was, I think, the mage was not paying attention. But, you can swap classes at any time if you want. I know. Yeah, but the problem is that then I feel like I have to learn it over again, and I'm already not that confident in my MMO ability. So I'm like stuck, but I just have to figure this out. Just bash my head against it until I figure it out. Okay, the Flames Reconnaissance Scouts have reported Imperial soldiers assembling at Rauban's Push. Such a force is likely interested in only one thing: getting their hands on the resources found here at the processing plant. Okay. The Garleans could begin marching on us at any time. Pray speak with Lieutenant Edelstein that we might coordinate our counter strategy. In the meantime, I'll inform the others that you have arrived. No doubt it will be welcome tidings. Okay. Oh. Wow. They actually moved us to where we need to go. Sergeant Khan, my soldiers... Sorry, I bumped the mic. My soldiers yet tell tales of your deeds during Operation Archon. Would that we could sit a while and reminisce about old times, but I fear more pressing matters require our attention. The civilian draftsmen, you see, have come across several highly suspicious crates within the boundaries of the processing plant. I had my sappers take a closer look, and our worst fears were confirmed. These boxes contain powerful explosive devices of Imperial design no less. By my order, the Flames stationed here are conducting a thorough sweep of the compound as you speak. Though it troubles me that we were unable to apprehend the Imperial spy behind this, I have faith that our men will be able to neutralize the threat for now. In the meantime, our scouts bring troubling news on the latest movements. Okay. I started my first crafter class earlier this week. It's almost at level 90 now. Dude, it's addicting. Honestly, I really liked the crafting grind, to a degree anyway. Now I'm at the point, like, I think at level 50 it gets a little bit more complicated, where you have to get like more rare stuff, and then it's like, okay, now you're waiting for things to spawn. So it was starting to get less fun as I was playing through it, but I also didn't have access to certain things, so I was really just grinding for grinding's sake and doing dailies. If you want a gravel golem pet, I can make you one. I've made 1 million of them. Gravel golem pet? What is that? Gravel golem pet. I mean, I'll take one. Yeah, that'd be cool. Do I have one? We just make sure I don't have one. No, I don't. I just have this stupid Oh my god, wait! Oh my god! He sits on your shoulder! That's awesome! This guy, this asshole, he stole my blessing of Hydaelyn. He destroyed all my crystals. He called me a fucking loser, and then said, "You suck, get out of here. Watch my tiny version of me." And now he sits on my shoulder, like he owns the place. That's awesome. Oh. Oh. Hey. Thank you. Wait, what is... Slash wave. Oh my god. Is it like a Rathalos? How do I examine the mount? Can I examine the mount? No. See, the one thing, okay, and you might not like this, but this is how I feel about MMOs. I fucking... Oh, it is a Rathalos. That's awesome. Okay, that's pretty cool. I hate the ridiculous mounts in this game. Like, this isn't that ridiculous, because it's a dragon, right? I hate when people drive around in that stupid fucking Final Fantasy 15 car. Or, I was streaming the other day, and I swear to God, somebody just, I don't know, like oh, there. Yeah. I couldn't explain it. I know it's irrational, and I know people disagree, and that's fine. But it's just like, it looks so ridiculous. And so when you're like rolling around in a car, it just drives me nuts. But not to say I wouldn't want one, but yeah, I don't have very many mounts. I don't even know how to get more. Mount guide. Yeah, I just have this one, which is like, that's the one you get from ARR. That's it. And then, but I just use the chicken. The chicken is my favorite, regardless. And it fits. It doesn't drive me nuts when people run around on chickens. A lot of mounts come from extreme trials and savage raids. Oh, okay, okay. That's cool. I would get like, I want like the little robot from... This would be stupid, but the little robot from Nier Automata. If you could ride around on that little robot, just sit on its head, that'd be cool. Every single primal, like Ifrit or Titan or Garuda in X difficulty, drop a mount that plays their boss music while you ride it. Oh wait! Oh man! Okay, okay, so you don't sit on its head. Get out of here! That's awesome. See, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you. I look at this and I'm like, damn, that's stupid. But it's cool. That's undeniably cool. It's more cool than the Final Fantasy card. The 15 card. And I liked Final Fantasy 15. I'm one of the 3 people who did. But that's so funny. Of course that exists. I don't like the car. How does it... It doesn't even, like, look right when it rides around, right? Because it has to move kind of like the Chocobo does. What is that from? I guess you can't focus them out. What's the robot from? Just a random robot mount? See, even the robots don't actually really... They don't really bother me that much. Because... it's in Shadowbringers. Because that's like... They have enemies in this game that kind of look like this. But what I don't like is, like, the cars. Because it just doesn't... It doesn't make sense. Or the motorcycle. I think the motorcycle is stupid. Because, like... Yeah. It's there's some sci-fi elements in these games for sure, or like steampunk elements or whatever. But what was I gonna say? The car's a little much. Yeah, see, and that's okay too. But like, the problem is that if everybody is riding around on a stupid fucking Final Fantasy 15 car, then why isn't everybody just riding around in cars? Like, why are the NPCs walking everywhere? Why are they riding chickens? You know what I mean? Why aren't they just driving? So, like, that breaks it for me. It's like, it makes the whole world seem stupid. For the sake of, like, a funny gag. But, that's just how I feel about these kind of things. It's really bad in other MMOs. It's not so bad here. I know, but the thing is, like, I wish there was just a toggle where I could just push... If I could push a button and go, like, I don't want to see anything that people bought in a store, and I also don't want to see anything that, I also don't want to see anything that is non-canon, essentially. I think I would check that box, but they wouldn't do that, you know, of course, but, I would check that box, because I'm a turbo nerd who likes canon. I'm a big dweeb for stuff like that. I do like the bear. That's cool. Also, let me see. Let me, since you gave me the minion. Wait, what? Oh, wait, I have to activate it, right? Right. I'll roll with this guy. Look at that guy. He's obedient. Can I pet him? Will that work? Yeah, it works. Okay. Okay, that's stupid. That's stupid. That's some Harry Potter bullshit. That is funny. There is like some humor to be had there, but that is real dumb. I like that you can pet. Can I sit on him? No, he won't sit on him. Oh, he won't do that. I do like that you can pet. Well, I didn't even think to do that before. Can I... He's petting a crab. Oh yeah, and it reacts. What does he do? Ah, he doesn't have much of a reaction. He's made of rocks, to be fair. Okay, let's move on here. Alright, we've been keeping a close eye on Garlean garrison. And it would seem that Imperials have finally begun to mobilize. Sorry. Okay, that's ridiculous. According to the reconnaissance report that just came in, the squads seen leaving the castrum are too few in number, or effectively take and hold their position. They will likely mount a swift assault and focus on the acquisition of resources. I have, of course, also shared this report with the Crystal Braves. They've decided to take to the field to meet this assault head-on. I have appraised your fellow Scions of the situation. I am heartened to know that they will be joining the effort. Pray report to... okay. Go talk to a guy. Oh, he's right there. You know what? It's really weird seeing a horse. Oh, it's a unicorn. That makes it even weirder. That's really weird to see in Final Fantasy, I gotta say. Have there ever been Horses in other Final Fantasy games? I don't think so. Final Fantasy horse. Oh, okay. They've been enemies. The crazy horse enemies. Yeah, I guess there are. Okay. Yeah, okay, I do remember those. Like older Final Fantasy games in the Unicorn. But they always show up as enemies. So, in Dawn of Souls, so Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Huh. Horses exist, they just aren't widespread like birds. Like the big chickens. Oh, he's not upstairs. I like the big chickens. Actually, I have an extra mount from crafting if you want it. Hey! I'll take it if you want to hand it over. If you're down. I certainly won't turn down a good thing, right? If it's like a stupid sci-fi thing, I will even use it. In the meantime, I'm going to see what Ishgard is doing. Now that is an impressive piece of steel. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, pal. Cool, thank you. Let's see what it is. The Antelope Staghorn. A large and elongated horn that when blown will bring your Antelope Stag springing to your side. You can now summon the Antelope Stag. Let's see. Oh, no, not that one. Where is it? Mount. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Also, I like... Yeah, you know what? I gotta be honest. I never noticed that it changed the music. I mean, obviously I noticed with the Chocobo theme, but... Hold on, what music does it play with this one? I never noticed that, because I've never ridden this. Most mounts play the same theme. The cool mounts all have really crazy music. Is this faster, too? This seems faster. Or am I just... Oh, right. And I forgot everything can fly. Same speed? Okay. Is flying faster than running? Because it feels faster, but I feel like it's just in my head. Just the size of the mount makes speed feel different. Ah, okay. Also, I like that he's such a big guy on this skinny-legged thing. Flying is faster for sure. Okay. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'll set this as my default. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's cool. How do you get this? I gotta look up like a guide for like how to get mounts, because I haven't looked in any of that stuff really. That's cool. What the fuck? How is that thing flying? How'd you get a T-Rex? That's funny. I like the saddlebags and stuff. That's cool. Heaven Sword crafting area, and you can rarely find the antelope from a box. I got like 3 of them. Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I will absolutely. I'll keep using that one until I get a really stupid sci-fi one, and then I'll ride that along so I get pissed off on stream more easily. Glad to have you with us, Talos. As I'm sure Lieutenant Edelstein has explained, the Garleans have deployed a small force from Castrum Meridianum. Their main column assembles to the north near Dalamun's Talons, but we've also spied several squads attempting to conceal themselves in the approach to the west. Okay. They wish to rush forth and commit to battle with the main column, leaving the detached force free to raid the plant and pillage supplies. Not much of a strategy, but they're desperate men. Okay. Everybody salute. Way to go. We did it. Greetings, Scion. I understand the commander bid you and your fellows come lend a hand to the Braves. With such mighty heroes at its disposal, the Fourth should have little trouble contending with aught the Garleans might throw at them. Hildebrand's quest can get you 3 or 4 pets in ARR alone if you like pets. Oh, cool. Like I said, I'll definitely do those. It's already 7:30. I've got like 2.5 hours left. I'll play today, so I definitely won't get to it today. But whenever I complete the patch content before Heaven's Word, I will do the Hildebrand stuff before I start. So if I had to guess, it probably wouldn't be until Saturday, because tomorrow I will be too busy during the day. And I don't stream. I do a second stream lately. I've been doing a second stream at night, but not stuff like Final Fantasy. I'm going to be playing Persona 3, but so tomorrow I won't have time. So I think on Saturday I will probably end up doing those. Now that I know that they exist. So I'll have to do those. And I'm going to have to look into other miscellaneous stuff too, because I didn't even really think about that. I know there's like tons of quests that I've just not done because they're like just side things, but I don't know what's worth doing and what isn't. And there's probably tons of stuff in this game that is not part of the MSQ that's worth doing. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of stuff that's part of the MSQ that is not worth doing. And I'm doing it right now. The reinforcements are welcome. We've enough soldiers now to divide our own forces and safely engage the enemy far beyond the walls. The only quests worth doing, for the most part, have a blue quest icon. What's the blue one? What's the blue quest icon? Should be best to avoid staging a battle anywhere near this much Ceruleum. Let's take this fight to the Garleans. Okay. Alright. If there are no objections, the Scions shall join the Fourth and give battle to this main column. A couple of the later expansion Hildebrand quests aren't blue for some reason. That's the exception. Blue just means it unlocks some... Oh, okay. Oh, that's good to know. I haven't seen any blue ones, I don't think. Not that I can recall. See, like the purple ones. You're with the Third, then Warrior of Light. Your job will be to intercept these squads hiding out in the west. Okay. Nod. Just nod. Uh-huh. When you're ready to proceed, report to Lieutenant Yuyuhase. His scouts should have a rough idea of where the Imperials have concealed themselves by now. Okay. They might look purple. It's the quest icons that are not MSQ. And not pure yellow/gold. Oh, okay. Maybe I am thinking of the purple ones then, not the blue ones. Or maybe they are purple, I mean. Where's this guy? Oh, over here, duh. Okay, a pleasure to be fighting at your side once more, Scion. Our operations invariably succeed when you're around. The victories we want to pave our road to greater coin. Now this detached force we've been sent to eliminate has split into smaller squads, the better to conceal themselves within the terrain hereabouts. I imagine. We'll need to split ourselves. Okay, I got it. Alright. I get it. We have to kill some guys. Let's run over here. Where are we, by the way? What is this area? We're in northern Thanalan. On the border of Mordana. Alright, now enter the spooky purple circle. Oh. Oops, that's not what I meant. Oh, eat my egg. Oh, whoops. Okay. The fuck is that? That's cool. Flame Sergeant Dalvag? I've never seen that before. That's cool. Okay. Okay. Two-thirds, maybe three-quarters through the post-quest. Yeah, believe me, I've been keeping an eye on it, so I know exactly where I'm at, because I'm like, I really want to be done with these. Sorry, Earth Sprite, I did not mean to hit you. After I got like a couple of quests, and then there's one patch left, right? I'm on the counter-offensive. Yeah, after this I have 18 quests left. God damn. That's rough. Oh. This is so ridiculous that this antelope is flying. Okay, you seem grim, Scion. I'll take that to mean that between us, more than a few Garleans, while we make it back to the castrum. These Imperials, though, they certainly made us earn our pay. I would be a happy man if I never had to tussle with another one of those Magitech horrors. It is time we bid this war-torn land farewell. I will contact the 4th and let Lieutenant Alisaie know the west is now clear. Okay. There's at least a scene near the very end that, despite the poor voice acting and outdated animation, is pretty badass. You know what? The one thing I will say is that even with, like, with all the caveats of A Realm Reborn, the animations actually in the patches are slightly, like, some of the cutscenes are actually slightly better than ARR. Which was a nice little surprise. Okay, we got him. We got him. Okay, the Imagine engineers will be most relieved to hear that the plan is no longer in any immediate danger. Great. Wonderful. That's what we do it for. We do it for the people. Okay. So yeah, now this is a fighty quest. You must be anxious for word of your followers. Lieutenant Alisaie has reported a sound victory over the main column and informs me that the Scions have already turned their attention to other duties. All but one, that is. Rugadin lady with a large axe. 'Twould appear she has chosen to remain at the site of battle. I know not what task keeps her from returning to civilization, but northern Thanalan is no longer a place to wander alone. It's no place to wander alone, no longer. Even the capable sort, such as her, I would certainly feel better, blah blah blah. Okay. You ever watch the cinematic movie trailers for ARR and the expansions? They can be viewed from the main menu or on YouTube. They are really incredible. I've avoided watching anything that isn't story relevant to me now, I should watch some of the Realm Reborn stuff, but I would not watch like an Endwalker cinematic, for example, just because I don't want. Oh my god! Oh my god! What's that? Oh, Jamaica. Hey, thanks for the raid. Whoa, how's it going? What's up? How'd the stream go? You were playing Ace Attorney, right?
Hold on, I won't be a second.
So, to all of your viewers that that came with you, I'm playing a video game very badly, so you have a lot to look forward to, I guess. How's 14? It's good. Hey Odom, how's it going? It's good. I like it. For the most part. I'm in between expansions, so I'm playing very tedious stuff. All the quests are kind of lame. so it's been pretty slow for the most part, but yeah, the game's good overall. I really like it. If you like MMOs, then it might be your thing. I'm not a big MMO guy, but everybody says that the story's really good. So remains to be seen. I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe.
Okay. Haven't tried Final Fantasy
I
XIV.
know, as Urianger never tires of
The
reminding me. An axe
hey, thanks for the follow there, butter.
Scholar. What can I say? I like axes.
Old 1789, etc.
I
can understand that. They kind of fell off. I know Jamaica's playing 10 too. So, well, not, oh whoops, not 10 too. But
considering how unlike we are,
I started the free trial but stopped after getting to Gold Saucer. That's what I was gonna say, is that the free trial I think includes the first expansion. And I think you can level up to 60 or 50, I don't know. I'm assuming 60 if it includes the second expansion, but I'm not even at the second, or the first expansion, I'm sorry. I'm not even at the expansion. That's where I'm in between right now. So I'm level 56, but that's because there's so many fucking quests between ARR and Heavensward. But yeah, I went to the Gold Saucer once to check it out, and then I was like, okay, that's cute, that's neat, and then I didn't really go back. So I will go back eventually once I have more stuff to do, because at the time I was mostly doing all the crafting stuff, and all my crafting stuff is like max level. Is it all voice acted too? A lot of the I wouldn't say a lot even, but I would say some of the main story quest stuff is voice acted. Basically, you know something important is happening when it's voice acted. So that's pretty much it. But it's not always voice acted for sure. A lot of it is just walls and walls of text. ARR voice actors are bad, but they all do then get replaced in the first expansion, which I haven't seen. Everybody says that the voice actors in the expansion are much better. So it's a little weird. The only person that I know for sure that I'm like, God damn, I wish this dude would stop fucking talking, is Alphanod. That guy sucks. I hate him. I hated him throughout Realm Reborn. It was terrible. But I wanted Gold Saucer so I could play Triple Triad nonstop. That checks out. That's cool. I would say, honestly, I would hang out in Gold Saucer if they had, like, poker. I would play Final Fantasy XIV poker. Everyone hates Alphanod and ARR, literally everyone. Good. I'm glad it's not just me. I'm glad that's like a popular opinion, because I'm not like a weeb, so I don't know like if people would be upset about that. But yeah, Alphanod sucks. I hate that kind of character in anything. Triple Triad is FF poker. Yeah, and I guess so. Kind of is. But I haven't really played it outside of, well, pretty much just in general. But okay, so let's pay attention here real quick, because it's just going to be a short cutscene, I'm sure.
That ought to do it.
Am I a cat or a dog person? I have well, my roommate, I should say, has a cat. I don't own a cat. But I've always had cats. I like dogs too. My main thing is that I don't want to take care of animals. I like other people's animals, you know, because they're cool because I don't have to pick up their shit or anything. That's the way I look at it. I also don't have kids, so yeah, anything that requires maintenance with another creature, I'm not that interested in right now. So, but I like cats. Yeah, or I've had cats, but I like both cats and dogs. So far, so good at this concentration. It shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. I think we're just trying to channel ether in like a cell phone.
Glowed?
I did see
The
that.
Siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet.
What was the cat-dog consensus in Jamaica's
I'll
chat?
put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
Is liking cats like heresy or anything?
He senses me. A useful talent.
This is another thing. This Organization 13 bullshit, the Ascians, I don't like that. I hated it. I hate this kind of stuff in Final Fantasy 13, and I think these guys are so cringy. I really don't. 2 cats and a dog, so I'm a dual liker. That's the way to do it. I forgot how dumb the Ascians were in AR. Yeah, he senses me, a useful talent. It's like cartoon nonsense. Like, look at this guy.
Ascian, are they onto us?
This is like Yoshida left his computer on and Tetsuya Nomura walked by and started just typing things in there. You know. Ascians are fixed completely later, but they're goofy as hell in ARR. That's good to know. Because when I see them, I think of Tetsuya Nomura. And when I think of Tetsuya Nomura, I think of how stupid most Japanese, like, role-playing games are. You know, because I fucking hate Nomura. And I like Japanese RPGs. But that kind of writing, I want to fucking throw myself in a pit of lava when I hear it. I hate it.
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Garlean, keeper of knowledge.
Hey, thank you for the follow, Odom.
Truth. Meddler.
No more. Yes. No. Okay. Nomura, his big credit is that he worked on Final Fantasy VII. So people are like, oh my god. Oh my god. He worked on Final Fantasy VII. He's great. No. He did the character designs, I think. I think that's what it was. He did some character designs. And now he's writing games. He's like directing fucking Final Fantasy games and shit. He sucks. He's the worst. Yeah, he is Final Fantasy guy. Yeah. I mean, is he good at that? Is he that good at that? I mean, a lot of goofy looking characters in Final Fantasy. Not so much at directing. That I 100% agree with. Because, goddamn. Okay, alright. Final Fantasy VII Remake sucks. It sucks. Alright? And it's 100% Nomura's fault. So, I don't like Final Fantasy VII at all compared to the other FF games like 6, which is way better. Here's the thing. I have never beaten Final Fantasy VII. I've never beaten Final Fantasy VII. I have no nostalgia for Final Fantasy VII. So, here, okay, Odom, here, I will explain this, right? I will absolutely explain this. Final Fantasy VII Remake, okay? Fun game, I'll grant you that. It's fun. But the story stuff makes no sense. And the reason for that is Final Fantasy VII Remake only makes sense if you have played Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? They never introduce Sephiroth as like a character, but for some reason he's the final boss of the game. And even in the trailer for Part 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's like, what's Sephiroth doing? If you have not played Final Fantasy VII, you don't know who he is. So who is this game for? It's not a remake, it's a fucking sequel. I hate it. I hate it. And I hate the writing too. It's just like, it's so stupid. Looks great. Plays fun. I like Final Fantasy 15. Ghost shit is weird. I'll teach you how to do Midgard and go all the way to the final battle. people have some absurd nostalgia for 7 and worship it, despite the terrible combat animation length and mediocre characters or shitty writing. The main villain. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything towards that because I really don't know. Because like I said, I never beat Final Fantasy VII. I will say that it's tough to play because the way that games were made back then. Like the frame rate of the combat is different than the frame rate of the overworld. So a lot of that stuff is completely busted, like on the PC version. Like even like the like QTE style stuff, it doesn't really work. So that makes it tough. But ghosts are so weird. Nomura only did the remake, right? Yeah. I love the dance. I did love the dance. I loved the dance. There's no denying that. Look, when it comes to stuff like that, the stupid stuff is fun, right? The stupid stuff I love. I love dumb things, you know, all over the place. But, yeah, it's just, overall, I felt that it's really stupid. I was on your stream when you did the dance part. Yeah, I loved that. Look, I like the mini game where he was lifting weights or whatever. Or, you know, when he was doing like squats. So stupid. Whatever, I'm down. But I just don't like the story stuff. Okay, and I have to look this up because Nomura Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, he was a director. Tetsuya Nomura was a director on Final Fantasy VII Remake. But he was a character designer in Final Fantasy VII, the original. So I don't want to hear any fucking defense of this guy. It's his fault. Yeah, explains the weird ghost stuff. Exactly. Look, excuse me. If you've played any of the Kingdom Hearts games, then you know for an absolute fact that this guy's a fucking moron. Okay? Nomura must be stopped. We gotta stop this man. He should not be allowed to continue what he's doing. Fucking stop it. Last Kingdom Hearts was so weird too. Yeah, it sucked. It was terrible. I hate it. And I'll play the 4th one, because I'm an idiot. But,
oh yeah, that felt good!
Yeah. I guess, you know what? That's another... I like stupid things. So who was that? Steve from Code Veronica. That's a stupid thing. Okay.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well.
That laugh was so exaggerated.
But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath.
This is so lame. I don't really like them too much. Only bit I played Kingdom Hearts is for Final Fantasy, and Kingdom Hearts 3 had none of it. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 did not have any Final Fantasy stuff, and I don't know who said it. I don't know if it's Nomura or who said it, but basically they just said there was nowhere to put the Final Fantasy stuff. And I don't buy it. I think it's just that it was way easier for them to sell like a fucking full scene from Frozen and Tangled. Both of those were so bad. Yeah, I don't buy it. Yeah, I don't buy it either. It's very dumb. The Ascians are really funny with how goofy they are. Yeah, it's so bad. Apparently they kind of come back and forth. Look, if the 4th one in the trailer even, and at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, he's in like Tokyo. He's in like Shibuya. So I thought I was on board with the theory that it was the world ends with you, because it had the same building with like the whatever company it was or whatever logo. I thought it was the world ends with you thing. So I think it could just be that what we've seen in the game, what we've seen so far is like just one of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't think it's going to be the entirety of it, but they could change it up because they said the Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3 are a trilogy, even though there's like 7 games. And so this could be like a different direction, but who knows? Don't make any sense. There's so much space for it. Yeah, I know. It's stupid. Also, they introduced those characters in the previous 2 games. So, to just leave them out. Whatever. Fucking Nomura. Can't even remember the story of Kingdom Hearts 3 because it was 97% Disney stuff. Yeah, and it wasn't like incorporated in the story. It was just just scenes from Disney movies, which like it was basically the Square, like the team at Square just flexing and being like, look, we can make shit that looks basically like CG movies now in real time, which is really impressive. Makes for a bad game. That game sucks.
Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales.
That's so stupid. You play Disney all the way, and at the end, oh right, we have to save Aqua. Look, I'm gonna say something that is gonna upset a lot of weebs out there, but Aqua sucks. Who cares? Who cares? It's a bad character. She sucks. That's my opinion on Aqua. Why did we focus so much on this character? She sucks.
And you have long been a thorn in my side.
Yeah. Hey, well...
I suffered the overweening presence of La Habrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Aqua... Now... Let's not be ridiculous here. Aqua was a main character in... 2.8, a fragmentary passage, okay? And that was out on consoles. All right, that's real. I'm pretty sure that's what that stupid game was called. Or was it 2.9? No. I think it was 2.8 because then in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, don't they start with Kingdom Hearts 2.9, which is like a funny joke? I'll give them credit for that. I am Nabriales. 2.8, she appeared in the second game. Yeah. I don't think she was in Chain of Memories. She was in the PSP one. Birth by... No, not Birth by Sleep.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense.
Fair enough, I guess.
But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light.
He got me.
Oh, dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee.
If you search Kingdom Hearts Aqua on Microsoft Edge, one of the first search terms is Kingdom Hearts Aqua feet. Look, her feet were big like Nomura's. Look, if you... Okay, let's do this. Because I was talking about this the other day. I've been sending this around. And I've really gotten sidetracked here, but all right. Now, look. We've got the numbers, okay? We've got the numbers. They're in. Birth by Sleep. Okay, good. So since Butter brought up the fact that Aqua, the feet always come up. Feet come up all the time. If you Google anybody, you get feet. And this is why. You can't, the numbers don't lie, all right? Feet, that's the yellow line. Internationally, oh no, this is United States, I'm sorry. Internationally, feet, way more popular than tits and ass, okay? If you look, the interest for tits, the only country in the world that has a higher percent of tits than ass or feet is Finland. Only tit guys, only boob men or women, I don't know, in Finland. That's it. Nowhere else. Look, Hungary, 34, 34, 32. They're tied with tits and ass. And then feet come in at 32. At least they don't like feet more. However, let's look at the interest for feet, okay? Philippines, can't get enough of them. Love them. Love them. They love the feet. Singapore, love feet. UK, can't get enough of them. Love them. Want to be walked on by them. They can't get enough. Canada loves feet. They hate. They can't stand tits. Ireland. Yeah, so anyway, it goes on like this. I feel like this isn't right. Look, you can say whatever you want. You can disagree. But here's the thing. You're wrong. Because I've got the numbers. Look at these bar look at these. Tits 29, ass 60, feet 89. Boom. There you go. Now go ahead and Google Aqua. Of course you're going to get feet. Because Google assumes if you're looking up any body part for any kind of sexual gratification, it must be feet. That's, you know, US, 54% feet. Where do these stats come from? It comes from Google searches. So this is based on search terms. So it's how many times tits, ass, or feet have been searched. What? Do people really jack off to feet? That's a question? Dude. People love feet. Come on. You had to have known that. It's like the biggest. Am I? No, I'm not a foot. I realize I seem like a foot advocate right now, but I swear I'm not. I'm trying to be because I see the trends. Look, if we look over the past since 2004. Look, ass in 2004. Look, ass was on the rise. It was going crazy. People couldn't get enough. They were like, more. I want more ass. It was going up and up and up, and then all of a sudden, oh, what's this? Hold on, for the first time, 2018, ass and feet tied. They were like, hold on. Something must be happening. What made feet go up? That's a good question. I would love to know what happened on March 2018 that people were like, hold up. What's going on with those feet? And then, look, as we progress, feet now consistently number one. Tits? Apparently nobody ever liked tits. Apparently, like you know, it was going strong for a little bit here in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. 2010? Pfft, get out of here. Get out of here. You're done. Get those tits out of here. It's all about feet now, or it's all about ass now, okay? And then we go up, and then all of a sudden, ass is on the decline. If you had ass in your 401k, dump it. No pun intended. Dump it. Get the feet. Go. And then all of a sudden, we get here to modern day. Tits. Nobody. What? Who likes those anymore? But feet. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to explain myself here, you know. Once I discovered this, I was like, maybe I gotta try some new stuff, you know what I mean? I've never been into feet, just to be clear. I wish I knew what made it go up, though, in March 2018. Thought everyone loved boobs. When my lady friends come around, it's all they talk about. Yeah. I think everybody likes them. Maybe the reason why they're so sought after on the internet is because nobody wants to indulge people's feet fetishes in real life. You know what I mean? So if you really want to get your foot, if you really want to get like your daily intake of feet, you might have to Google it instead of getting it from your lady friend or whoever. You know, because they're not interested. They're like, okay, tits, okay, I get it. Ass, okay, I get it. Feet, no. Leave them alone. Let my feet go. People might be paying more attention to their own feet and start taking better care, and now they all look at other feet to compare. I don't know. It was the best feet. I don't know what anybody's feet look like, man. I know what my feet look like, and I can tell you right now, if my feet were the feet that came up, there would not be this disparity. People would be. It would not be. You know, people would not be searching for this. People on the beach looking at naked feet. Yeah, beautiful women all across the beach. I can't take my eyes off their feet, you know? I can't. Yeah, show feet, yeah. I'm not doing that. Just shut up. I'm not doing that. Oh God. Maybe later when I do my hot tub stream, I'll bring my feet out for you. Show boobs. Yeah, I think they would both be TOS. But wait, feet aren't TOS. Look, I'm a very modest man. Okay, Odom, you have to at least take me out for dinner, buy me a couple of drinks, then maybe we'll see where we get. Then maybe I bring you onto a hot tub live stream and I show boobs. But before then, I don't think so. I don't think I can do that. Anyway, back to the Ascians.
Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal
Feet are not
is
TOS.
broken.
Maybe that's
Now
why
is
they're
the
so
time
popular.
to claim
Because you
the
can show them.
staff. With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiac's right hand.
This guy's voice. Yeah, it's really good. This is a Final Fantasy or a Kingdom Hearts character if I've ever seen one, you know.
What did that bastard want with us?
You know what?
Nabriales, he calls himself. With a charm like that, I bet he has maidens falling at his feet.
Alright. 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 Fine. Fine. We'll do it, okay? We'll find out. We'll find out. Look. Nobody likes dicks. Okay, some people like dicks. Okay? Wyoming. They're all about them. Okay, let's see. Worldwide. Dicks are on the rise. Interest for dick. I'm sorry, that's funny. Kenya, they love it. They love it. They can't get enough. Jeez. Nigeria, love it. Ghana, Thailand, that checks out. What makes dick go up? So many questions. Let's see. I mean, has it gotten more? Yeah, I know. Look, back in 2004, it was a different time. We don't like them. What am I, gay? 2004. You don't want to admit that. But time goes on. Now, dicks more popular than tits. That's right. Exactly. It was an unfair time. But now, dicks are moving on up. They're growing. It's getting bigger these days, you know what I mean? It's on the rise. So, maybe this is all for a more inclusive world here. And right there, leading the charge, is Kenya. So, good on you, Kenya. We love what you're doing. Keep it up. I know it's hard, but you'll see it through. That's enough. That's enough. All right.
But this staff, you say just talking about it had the
Oh
bastard
God,
grinning
we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not looking up dick size by country. That's it. No, okay. That's it. We were just looking at the popularity of the search terms, okay? I don't need any more reason to feel worse about myself than start looking up average dick size, okay? Might have something to do with them loving it in Kenya. I'm not gonna comment on it.
Oh gods, he means Tupsimati, Master Louisiox's staff.
Okay.
Minfilia's in danger. We have to get back to the Rising Stones.
Might have a cheeky Google. Hey, you can search it for yourself, and hopefully it's hopefully you get the results you're looking for. Okay, let's see. Might. You know, I gotta say, what's going on here? That's a dude. Two fellas hanging out underneath a... It's not even raining. It's not raining. Okay. Mordone is a hive of degeneracy. It's raining in their imagination. Oh, shit. It just goes right into it. You're here. Master Louisiox, right? Master Louisiox's staff is kept in the solar, right? Let's go. All right. I know everybody tuned in for the Google trends of dicks and ass and stuff like that, but I do want to play this game a little bit.
You too.
So, you were able to divine my intent. What now, warrior of light? Ah, but that name is no longer fitting. You have become decidedly dull and quite incapable of barring my entry.
What do you mean?
You truly do not know? Then I suppose it is only right that I enlighten you.
That's right. Go ahead. Enlighten us all.
The blessing of light kept you and your fellow meddlers safe. It was that which prevented my kind from entering your domain. My kind, I say, though it had no power over the likes of Elidibus and La Habrea. Being of this world, they could come and go as they please, while I could only look on. But I need look no longer. Now that the seal is gone, I mean
Oh shit.
to act.
I was muted. I don't know how long I was muted,
Like the
but
others, I am not given to waiting.
size of the game is crazy.
I shall take that
Thanks for hanging out, Jamaica. Thanks for the raid,
about
and thanks for
the
everybody stopping
next
by.
rejoining.
That's what I was saying. If I was muted for that, I don't know.
Rejoining? Then it was your doing. The Isle of Val, the scholars, all of it.
Okay.
You will not harm her!
Oh my god. Whoa. Did she get murdered?
Moenbryda!
Why must you insist on forcing my hand? Did you learn nothing from our last meeting? Ah, but I forget. My words fall upon deaf ears.
Okay.
The staff is but a broken relic, a memorial to the departed. What possible use could you have for it?
Moo breeder.
What use?
It was her
You
nickname
say
in
that
college.
All this time you kept the key, never knowing what it was you possessed? The staff Tupsimati, or rather the stone tablet it bears, is host to a great power.
Okay.
Together with the horn, It can be used to draw vast quantities of ether from its bearer's surroundings.
It's very convenient.
How else do you think Louisiox was able to invoke the power of the 12 without making them an offering of crystals?
Okay.
Summoning requires not only prayer, but a profusion of ether. Even a child knows that.
Yeah, you idiot.
If I did not know before, you may be certain I do now. But above all, I know that we cannot allow this staff to fall into your hands. I will die before I let you take it.
Okay. Yeah, the main character does nothing. He nods.
I would happily end your
He just hangs out.
here and now.
He nods and pantomimes. My reading on this is that he doesn't really understand anything that's being said because it's a lot of nonsense. And he just pretends he understands at the end by nodding when they go, "You get it?" And he goes, "Uh-huh." I think that's what is actually happening here. Oh my god. They took my favorite girl. That's probably what's on his mind.
Answer them quickly before the rift closes.
It's like, how in the world could this possibly be true? Feet? Feet, of all things? Time to rescue the princess? Is that what's going on? Oh. The Chrysalis is now available. Oh god. Okay. Just out of curiosity. What is this? The Chrysalis. So it's a trial. Okay. Okay, cool. Alright, well, give me a minute here. I'm gonna take 10. Take a pee and all that good stuff. And I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna do this, and then we'll keep going. I probably have I have until 10, pretty much, so another hour and 50 minutes. So almost 2 hours. So give me a couple of minutes, I'll be right back, and then we'll keep playing. You can open Duty Finder by pressing the U key. Oh, yeah. Nice. It's good to know. Okay. Give me a minute. I'll be right back.